So you have been awarded something very special that has never happened in Nevada history. Tell me a little bit about that and how you're feeling.
A number of veteran groups nominated me for this prestigious medal called the Army Civilian Service Medal. It's a distinguished medal given to a handful of Americans every year. And I was honored to be nominated. And then about 2 months ago, 4-star General Andrew Poppas, who heads the U.S. Army, called me to notify me that I had been selected and that I was the first person in the history of Nevada to be selected.
The reason why you've been nominated is actually really special. You, out of your own generosity, your love for country, your love for the veterans, you actually started working and doing this project. Can you tell us a little bit about it, and is it going to be happening again?
Yeah, so I've been working with veterans and helping them for about 35 years. And last year we did the biggest event in the history of the United States exclusively for veterans and military families. We enrolled and registered 15,000 families for an event we did at Allegiant Stadium. And we put on a free concert, and we also raised $4 million, which we used to buy gifts, and we just gave it all away to the military families and the veterans. President Kennedy said it well, that saying thank you for your service to a veteran or a military officer is important, but it's not enough. You have to back thank you for your services with deeds, with action.
Hey everyone, thank you again for joining us on Access Las Vegas. Right now in front of me, I have one of the most special guests, and I cannot wait to interview the General. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. For the pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. So I have to tell you something. I have been so excited about interviewing you. I've been telling people even on the golf course in Cabo. So
you should have invited me out to Cabo.
I mean, yeah, that would have probably been a better idea. But tonight is so special. And for us outsiders, seeing this piece of history, this is probably normal, every day for you. But can you walk us through a little bit of the selection process and why this medal for Peter is so important?
Yeah. Well, first, it's not normal.
Okay.
It's not normal. What you see from Peter, first, his commitment to serving his community and to serving the veteran community also. I mean, he comes from 5 generations of military service, and it's something that he takes great pride in. And you were able to speak to him earlier. He's got a charisma, a presence, and a drive. And that's what you've seen in his devotion to taking care of veterans, their families. And he's a visionary that has the ability to be a catalyst in the community, to drive forward some of these initiatives and projects that have benefited us.
Yeah.
He's very selfless. And that stood out to me as we saw what he's done. And it goes back not just in the past year. Mm-hmm. And this is the highest award that the United States Army provides for civilian commitment and service. And our Secretary, Dan Driscoll, when he heard what he had done and his commitment to soldiers and to the veterans, he said he is absolutely deserving.
Wow. Is there an exact number you guys gave out a year, or is it just kind of ambiguous based on who is worthy of these honors yearly?
Well, I think it's a great question. I'll tell you, I've been in this job as the Forces Command Commander of the United States for 3.5 years. This is the 3rd one that I have done.
Wow.
So that's it.
Okay, so this is not common.
It is rare. It's rare, and it's just, again, the highest award that reflects the type of commitment that Mr. Palivos has provided.
And as I'm sitting here, and I keep, even when I'm talking to Peter, I'm like, we're in a moment in history. I know this is just so powerful for Nevada and the pride that I have to be a part of this. So I want you to kind of take us back just for a moment about your personal history. So why did you decide to get into the military? Why did you decide to serve?
Well, through high school, it's a family story. So parents are immigrants. My father came over in 1945 after being a Greek immigrant under Nazi occupation. As a young 15-year-old boy, came over alone to the United States. The opportunities that this country provided for us and the discussions we had growing up, we also took great pride in being Greek. But he realized that the United States and what America provided for us and our family is unique to the world. And he was always committed to serving both our city and our nation. We grew up believing the strength of what this country provides, education obviously being the foundation for all. And I have an older sister who's a doctor. Her brother's a cinematographer and is to pursue our dreams. Yeah. And mine was to serve this nation.
Wow, and you've served it so well.
Yeah. I didn't think it was going to be 4 decades. Don't let my youthful appearance fool you.
Yes.
But I fell in love with the Army and just the leading, the soldiers that are out there and the mission that we have. And truly, it sounds quaint, but being something greater than ourselves.
Yeah. And
I feel I felt and filled my father's his destiny and his vision.
That's beautiful. And just for the people watching, because I want just maybe a quick piece of history as to how many people achieve your status, because it's also rare where you're sitting. So if you can just give me a little bit, if you know the statistics of how many people actually reach your status.
Well, at this time, there are 9 Army 4-stars. So there are 9 within the service. Obviously, as I get ready to retire, there's another 3-star general ready to elevate up and take my role.
Wow.
But that's the strength is the period gets smaller, the depth of talent that we have in the United States Army and all the services. It's deep, it's committed. And after 20 years of continuous conflict, there's a depth of experience and leadership and combat readiness that's within our formation. So though 9 are here today, there's at least a dozen more that would be ready to fill my position. We're very fortunate as a nation.
That's how rare your title is.
Very fortunate.
Yes.
Fortunate to have a career this long and to lead the young men and women of our nation.
Well, I'm going to venture out to say that it's more than just fortunate, but you put a little bit of work into it.
I do. You got to be committed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So 2 more questions and then we'll wrap. So what advice would you give anybody who's watching right now who is considering getting into the Army, the military, any form of service?
Well, first, I think anybody should serve and commit themselves to the betterment of, if not their city, the community, and the nation itself. Give back to the nation that's provided so much for us. But I tell you, if you're looking to serve, whichever branch of service that you want to go into, the service itself it's a great opportunity for personal growth and for commitment to a greater organization. And I think the United States Army is the greatest team that we have. The assimilation into the ideals and it's a virtue and values-based organization, the personal growth and the development of the individual, and especially being part of a greater team where you lift each other up, you depend on each other. And I just found the growth both in myself and those that I have led it's been inspirational to watch.
Last but not least, for the people who don't have the privilege of being here to witness this moment in history, can you give me a quick view of what this ceremony looks like as you're about to hand this medal to Peter?
Well, we'll bring Peter and Vicky, his wife, up because like any good relationship and marriage, it's a great team that's out there. They inspire each other. We'll bring him forward. We're going to talk about what this medal means, what this recognition entails. Obviously, is the highest recognition from the Secretary of the Army. It's an elevated status. So there is a great importance to it. So I'll highlight what that is, but then going into what Peter and Vicky have done. And I tell you, Peter's a visionary. He's a catalyst in the community. He drives it, and you can see the results of it. But the beauty is, this isn't a thank you for what you've done for Peter. It's continue to drive, continue to bring those behind you that want to serve.
That.
So it's a challenge to him to continue. And you just spoke with Peter. You can see that.
Yeah.
If there's a challenge ahead and you put that on his plate, he's going to drive to meet success.
You are not wrong. Well, General, I am so thankful that you took the time to share a little bit of what tonight is, a little bit of your history, and that challenge to the next generation to step in to serve, because I truly agree with you that our country is so beautiful. And no matter where you hail from, if you have love for the United States, you can come together and do something beautiful with each of our backgrounds. So you guys, I'm in a starstruck moment of just being able to honor one of the 9 generals, 4-star generals in the United States. Thank you so much for joining us on Access Las Vegas. Up next, I have a very special guest, General Barry, here because he is joining us for this moment in history. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. And I'm so looking forward to talking about what I like to say might be the eighth wonder of the world.
Eighth wonder of the world.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me, what is the eighth wonder of the world?
Very rarely do you find somebody when they hit the ground so hard, the whole world feels it. And when you talk about Peter Palivos and what he's done and who he has supported and the impact and the reach. But the bigger thing is the second, third, fourth order effects of not just veterans, not just their families, not just, their communities and neighborhood, but it's saving lives. And when I find people doing something like that, then I say they're a wonder.
Yes, that is beautiful. And I agree with you in saving lives, because I do believe that there's been this beautiful progression to get people inspired, to get people signed up. And then we start to trickle off.
Right.
About honoring the ones who are currently in service. Right. And then honoring them afterwards and their families. Right. And so that was one of my first interactions with, Peter was his passion for our veterans. And I've met countless people that, love our veterans and love our country, but he takes it to the next level. Right.
And this is a breakthrough.
Okay.
You have found somebody that has broken through the Veterans Day or the Memorial Day or the traditional things.
That part.
Jim Collins talked about the flywheel. He has the momentum behind what he's doing, not just in support, not what he does with the Day of Gratitude, not just in veteran housing, not in veteran support, but he has the momentum that's going to break through.
Yeah.
And our state, Las Vegas, is going to be the example for the world to look at in terms of how you take care of those who've taken care of this great nation.
Now you're preaching.
Oh, I can preach all day about this.
So I want people just on a personal level to get to know you for a moment. Okay. So if you can, in a couple minutes, tell me, why did you get involved? Why did you decide to serve?
So from the time I was literally in high school, and some people don't know, I had a dual career. I was a police officer in Reno, Nevada. Okay. And then I was in the National Guard. I was in ROTC in college. And so I knew that because of what I had in this life, I stood on the shoulders of those who were willing to give up their life for the person on the right and left. Wow. And I found nothing more noble than that. Yeah. And literally the second that I could wear a uniform, I just did, because I believe contributing, giving back, uplifting, something that touches your soul, knowing your purpose. And I got that at an early age. Wow. And I literally never came out of a uniform since the time I was 19 years old. So like the next 10 years? It's because we take for granted that we get to have the freedoms that we have. Amen. Yes. And I don't take that for granted. And I know I have been there. I haven't had to knock on the door of somebody that lost a parent. I have had to have a parent sitting in front of me whose son committed suicide. Ooh. I have had to sit and talk to a family who had a permanent injury to their loved one. Yeah. And that's the external. The internal wounds that we have, that we carry. There's nothing normal about sending a 17-year-old who may be going to a high school prom one year, sending them into harm's way the next year, and then asking them to come back here and to integrate into life. There's nothing normal about that. Right. And so I got to watch and experience and see that. And so I said, on my watch, as long as I have God-given ability, I want to be around those, and I want to do the things that I can play my part. Yeah. And I will never, ever have any regrets that the deep-seated love, not just love, deep-seated love for this nation, for its veterans, for our first responders. When you look that up in the dictionary, you're going to see my name attached to that.
That's powerful. Yeah. I agree with you that it does have to be throughout. And we do see that, like you're saying, it's not normal, but it is such an honor. Like you said, just to be able to serve your country, to be able to look to the left and to the right, the same thing, and just say, I love you as a country, and I'm going to stand in the gap. Yeah. Yes. And that is absolutely powerful. I could just sit in that conversation for probably the rest of the night. But I do need to transition tonight specifically. This honor is going to Peter. Have you ever been a part of one of these ceremonies before?
Well, keep in mind, I did 38 years in the military.
Yeah.
So I've seen a lot of ceremonies. But for a civilian, no.
Okay.
And so to be recognized by the Secretary of the Army, to have General Poppas come here, a 4-star, Force Com commander.
Oh, yeah.
To have this level of, I'll say, of gratitude bestowed upon you by people from around this nation, that is not normal.
Yeah.
And that is a testament to him and his family and his commitment to, as I will say, to take care of those who've taken care of our nation. And, America is the longest running democracy in history.
Right.
But it's those who care enough about it that won't let it fail or go backwards that makes it and keeps it great. And so for Peter to be recognized as a civilian who doesn't have to do it, could be taking on anything else, who I know, I asked him sometime, I said, you have got to be losing money. How are you able to afford giving so much back?
Yeah.
It's one thing to give your funds, your resources, but then your time.
Yeah.
And he won't quit. I got an engine, but that dude, he's got a F1 going on inside of him. And so but to see this, not to this level, not for a civilian.
Yeah. I agree with you. And just tonight, I have that excitement and anticipation that we are witnessing history and that we get to be a part of it. So in closing, for people watching, what is the one message that you would share to people, whether it's about the veterans, whether it's about serving? What is one message you have for people watching?
I'm going to say something that my grandmother said to me when I was a first-generation college student. And I was excited about that. She said, it's one thing to make history, because I was the first in my family, but it's another thing to make sense. And she says, what are you going to do with the God-given gifts that you've been given? And what are you going to do with the purpose and calling on your life as a result of this gift you've been given? So I say that, what do we as people do with the gifts that we've been given if we're able to get up, to breathe, to make a contribution, to live, to lift up our brother or sister? What are we doing with that?
Ooh.
So it's one thing to make history. We all make history all the time. But what are we doing to make sense, to make this a better world?
Okay. So I think I am walking away.
I've never seen you stutter.
I'm walking away with just a sense of passion, because it is so true. What are you going to do? We have one life, one God-given talent within all of us that the world needs to experience. So I just challenge you guys to do the same, to grab a hold, to figure out what that is, and to live the rest of your life with that mission. So thank you guys so much for joining us. This was absolutely incredible. Thank you, General Barry, for joining us.
Yep. Am I my brothers and sisters keeper? Yes, I am.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Welcome back to Access Las Vegas. My name is Sharelle Mendenhall, and I have one of my favorite guests back to talk about something absolutely historic. Please join me in welcoming Peter Palivos.
Hello, Sharelle. Great to see you again.
Okay, so we have had so many different conversations when I've been able to interview you, but tonight, as it's happening, we are witnessing history. So you have been awarded something very special that has never happened in Nevada history. Tell me a little bit about that and how you're feeling.
So a number of veteran groups nominated me for this prestigious medal called the Army Civilian Service Medal. It's a distinguished medal given to a handful of Americans every year. And because only a few receive it, you really have a 1 in a million shot. And I was honored to be nominated. And then about 2 months ago, 4-star General Andrew Poppas, who heads the U.S. Army, called me to notify me that I had been selected and that I was the first person in the history of Nevada to be selected.
How does that make you feel?
It's pretty surreal. First of all, it's a great honor.
Yeah.
Because I come from 5 generations of military service. So it's been my DNA to do it. But it's very surreal and very humbling.
Well, I want to kind of take us back for a minute, because the reason why you've been nominated is actually really special. You, out of your own generosity, your love for country, your love for the veterans, you actually started working and doing this project. Can you tell us a little bit about it, and is it going to be happening again?
Yeah, so I've been working with veterans and helping them for about 35 years. I've handled hundreds of cases for free. And then we started doing these smaller events where we do lunches and dinners to welcome the troops home when they come from foreign seas.
For 35 years you've been doing this?
For about 35 years.
Okay.
And then recently we went bigger and better. And last year we did the biggest event in the history of the United States exclusively for veterans and military families. We enrolled and registered 15,000 families for an event we did at Allegiant Stadium. And we put on a free concert, and we also raised $4 million, which we used to buy gifts, and we just gave it all away to the military families and the veterans.
Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. So tonight there's going to be a ceremony, and they're going to give you a medal and award. Tell me a little bit, do you know how that process is? And also, I just recently heard that this actually has to be signed by the secretary, approved by the secretary to be able to give you this award. So divulge a little bit of the details for us.
So it was a learning curve for me. And I learned this when General Poppas called me, that this goes so high up, the Secretary of the United States Army has to sign off. Even a 4-star general cannot sign off. And that's pretty high because a 4-star general is Eisenhower level. So the Secretary of the Army, Mr. Driscoll, signed off on this. And I'm one of a handful of Americans this year to receive the Civilian Medal for Distinguished Service.
It's so beautiful. You also have another project, a housing for veterans. So tell me a little bit about that. Is it groundbreaking? I know I saw it in the news recently. So when does that break ground?
So, we're in trouble in this country, and you and I have talked about this before. I think we've lost our minds. We have war heroes living under bridges, and we have illegal immigrants living in 3- and 4-star hotels, and taxpayers are paying for it, which is irrational, in my humble opinion. So there's a tremendous demand for housing for veterans. And I met with a bunch of leaders recently, and we decided we're going to do something about it. President Kennedy said it well, that saying thank you for your service to a veteran or a military officer is important, but it's not enough. You have to back thank you for your services with deeds, with action. Yeah. So given this need today for veteran housing, I've taken the initiative to start Nevada Project 5000. And our goal is to build 5,000 homes for veterans and military families at cost, so we create ownership.
Is it true that you were actually challenging other states to do the same thing?
Yes, that's true. So we're doing these big events here at Allegiant Stadium. We're doing one again next year. And then we're doing Project 5000. And we're really leading the nation in this front. We're doing more for veterans and military families in Nevada than any other state. So recently we challenged other states to match us. I mean, isn't it great that Nevada's taking the lead on something?
Absolutely.
Right? So I did a shout out to other states of, look, we're doing these huge events at Allegiant Stadium, courtesy of the Raiders, who I call the Super Bowl champions of philanthropy. And now I've challenged the other 31 football teams in America, the NFL cities, to match us. Okay. Open up their stadiums to our veteran and military heroes.
Has anybody responded yet?
No, I got a call from somebody from the Chicago Bears in Chicago. Okay. They're interested in doing it. And we're in discussions very preliminarily. Okay. And I think that once we do this next event next year at Allegiant Stadium, I think that's going to go national and really kind of challenge other cities to match us. And we'll be happy to show them how we do it, give them like the formula, the magic formula. Yeah. And I would love to help them do this.
Something that I got to witness, I just feel like almost kind of from the outside, was the joy. Like even on the families that were there at Allegiant Stadium. And like you said, backing it up. So it was just beautiful to see the kids losing their minds over the concert, and they hadn't even gotten the presents yet. There were bounce houses, things for them to do, but it was just packed and it was beautiful. And you brought in all these generals and political leaders to honor, not just veterans, but veterans and their families. So you're doing that again. And what is the date of the new one?
So our next event is on June 6, 2026, again at Allegiant Stadium. The Raiders very kindly have given us capacity to register 22,000 veteran
22,000.
22,000.
Okay.
And we're very close to signing a contract with one of the top performers in the country. And if once that happens, we'll be able to give them a free concert. My goal is to raise, God willing, $4 million.
Okay.
Spend that money buying gifts and give away all these gifts to the kids and the military families.
What kind of gifts is it that you gave away at the last one, and what are you hoping to give away at this next event?
We gave just about everything. We met with the leaders from the different bases and asked them, what do the veterans and military families need? Believe it or not, the first item was Pampers. Because a lot of military families have children and they live on nominal income and they wanted Pampers. So we brought in 2 trucks full of Pampers.
Wow.
And then house goods was another big demand, towels, sheets, things of that sort, plates. And then we got 5,000 pair of shoes, Nike shoes from Nike. And we got 5,000 because we were confirmed that we're going to have 5,000 children visit us that day.
Oh, wow.
So at the end of that day, every child that came had a new pair of Nikes, a soccer ball, football, baseball, something that made them happy. And for me, the highlight of the event was honoring the 4 war heroes that day and then seeing thousands of children, the children of military families and veterans playing on Allegiant Stadium with their new Nikes.
Wow, that's amazing. And that's something that's just a mark in history. Again, like tonight. So I'm overwhelmed for you on this process because you did this so selflessly for 35 years. And tonight you get to receive this honor that is going to be stamped in history. If anyone wants to help you to get involved in what you're doing in any of those areas, whether it's the housing, whether it's the challenge that you're putting out there, or to donate, how do they get a hold of you and how do they support?
So we're going to be announcing that information very soon because we need to raise $1.5 million for the event at Allegiant Stadium. And then we use that $1.5 million of cash to buy the gifts. Last year when we did the event, we had 603 volunteers.
Right.
Not one volunteer made $1. It's all based on love of country.
Right.
And we're going to do the same thing this year. Our goal is to raise a lot of funds to do this beautiful event, which, by the way, will honor every World War II hero still with us.
That's incredible.
So the theme next year on June 6th, D-Day, will be to honor every American war hero from World War II who's still with us. Matter of fact, tonight, Mr. Johnson, Henry Johnson, who's the oldest Marine in Nevada at age 100 years young, will be here because I wanted him to be part of this celebration.
That's incredible. So Peter, what is the one message that you want to share with everyone watching right now?
I want to encourage everybody to get involved, to do some good in our community, especially to get behind our veteran and military families, because they're the ones that sacrifice the most to make this country great and to keep us safe.
Yeah, that's so powerful. You guys, I don't know about you, but I am so moved. And I got to see firsthand how powerful this last event is. And I'm so encouraged that my state is taking the lead in honoring our veterans and doing something instead of standing on the side and only doing this a couple days a year. But this is real life, getting them in homes and having events that simply honor those who served and their families. So if you guys want to be on the wait list, I need you to pop to Access Las Vegas, message me, and I'll ensure that you get on the list to be a part of what Peter is doing, because next year is going to be another history in the making. So thank you so much for joining us on Access Las Vegas.
Access Las Vegas is hosted by Sharelle Mendenhall. Follow her online at Sharelle Mendenhall. Thank you to our guests, 4-star General Andrew Poppas, Major General Ondra L, and recipient of the U.S. Army Distinguished Civilian Service Medal, Peter Palivos, for joining us on this week's episode. Save the date for the Next Day of Gratitude event happening on June 6, 2026.
If you're looking for new podcasts, the Amplify Podcasting Network is amplifying voices for the kingdom of God. Our lineup offers compelling conversations that inspire your journey, challenge your faith, and connect you to other believers around the world. You'll find your new favorite podcast on ctnamplify.com.